Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something pretty big, a seismic shift, really,
hmm
that's transforming how your content gets discovered online. We're talking about Instagram, which, let's be honest, it's rapidly evolving beyond just being, a social media platform. So the big question for you, our listener, is what does this actually mean for your digital marketing efforts right now?
It's a huge shift, no exaggeration. The core of it really is that public Instagram content, we're talking your reels, those carousels you put effort into, even just the captions, it's now being actively indexed by Google, which means it can show up directly in search results. So our mission today is to unpack what that really implies, the deeper implications, and give you some, actionable insights you can use straight away.
Okay, so let's dig into the mechanics here a bit. Meta, obviously Instagram's parent company, they've made a very deliberate, strategic decision here. They're allowing public Instagram stuff to be fully indexed by Google. So your posts, they suddenly have this whole new way to be found, right, from a Google search.
Exactly. And what's really compelling, I think, is that this isn't just some random tech update they pushed out. It's a direct response to a massive shift in how people actually behave online, especially younger folks, Gen Z. They're increasingly just skipping traditional web search altogether.
Right, like instead of typing best cafes in Toronto into Google.
Yeah, they're going straight to Instagram or maybe TikTok and searching there. So for Meta, this is also, well, it's a pretty fascinating strategic move. It's a way to kind of reestablish Instagram's importance in this fragmented search world we're in now. Maybe pull in some new ad money, leverage Google's massive reach. It really changes what search even means. It's not just keywords and blue links anymore. Now it includes all this dynamic visual stuff, reels, photos, those detailed captions.
Hmm. So it feels like these platforms, which kind of lived in their own separate worlds before, they're now having this interesting collision, maybe. If we thought about them as like personalities, how would you paint that picture?
Oh, that's a great way to frame it. For ages, Google was, the keyword nerd. Super meticulous, cataloging everything, obsessed with structured data, alt tags, XML sitemaps. You know the type. Instagram, meanwhile, was always the cool aesthetic one, all about the vibe, the filters, the perfect brunch photo.
Ah,
And then TikTok just crashes the party, right? The chaotic Gen Z disruptor. It didn't just challenge things, it basically rewrote the rules on what a search engine could be. It showed this whole new way for younger people to find stuff. So yeah, this collision, it fundamentally alters the landscape. It changes how marketers need to approach creating and sharing content. Those old lines are definitely blurring.
and that is where it gets really interesting for you listening, the digital marketer, the creator. This collision means there's a new playbook. We've sort of boiled it down to 5 major shifts you probably need to start making, like now that Instagram is seriously in the SEO game. So what's the deal? What does this all mean for us, maybe starting with captions?
Okay, first big shift, and maybe the most immediate one. Your captions need to become genuinely searchable content. We got to move beyond just, weekend vibes and a palm tree emoji.
Okay, so ditch the vague stuff. What would a good searchable caption actually look like then? Can you give us an example or two?
Absolutely. So instead of just weekend vibes, think about what someone might actually type into Google or even Instagram search. So for that same picture, maybe something like, exploring the best hidden coffee shops in downtown Toronto this weekend. Here are my top 3 must-visit spots. See? It's descriptive, it hits keywords, it matches what someone might look for.
Right, right. That makes total sense. It's about the intent. And speaking of descriptions, alt text. I know I'm guilty of sometimes overlooking that. How do we turn that into, as you called it, SEO gold? What's a common slip up there?
Oh, it's a huge one. And yeah, the second shift is precisely that. Alt text is now SEO gold. Instagram has that field, right? And it's not just about accessibility anymore, though that's still vital. It's now critical for discoverability, too, the common mistake. Either leaving it totally blank or, like you said, just writing something super basic like girl standing by tree.
Okay, so totally generic. How do we fix that? How do we optimize it?
Be specific, be descriptive, use keywords naturally. So for that girl standing by tree picture, if it fits, a way better alt text would be something like freelance graphic designer posing in front of a cool co-working space in Vancouver, working on a new client branding project. You're giving Google context who, what, where, relevant terms.
Wow, okay, that's a much richer description.
Yeah.
Huge difference. What about hashtags then? We've all been using them forever. Do we need to rethink how we use them in this new search world?
Good question. Third point. Hashtags are still relevant, but maybe reconsider their main job. You should still use them, for sure, but shift the focus towards more intent-based, phrasing, ask yourself, what would someone actually Google to find this post? And try to use variations of that in your
So
hashtags.
less broad stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If you're posting a recipe, instead of just hashtag food, maybe try hashtag easy weeknight meals or hashtag healthy recipe share or hashtag vegan pasta recipe, more specific to the search query.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay, and the Instagram bio. For a lot of people, it's just a quick little snapshot. Sounds like it needs more strategic thinking now.
It absolutely does. That brings us to number 4. Treat your Instagram bio like a mini homepage. Seriously. It's not just a throwaway line anymore. You should include your location if it's relevant, keywords related to your service or niche, and a clear, compelling hook.
Like what? Can you give an example?
Sure. Say you're a photographer based in Seattle. Instead of just photographer, maybe. Capturing authentic moments across the Pacific Northwest. Seattle family photographer specializing in candid portraits. It's a quick SEO win, gives immediate context to Google and, potential clients finding you through search.
Okay, that's clear. And the fifth shift. This feels like it's bleeding beyond just Instagram itself.
It really is. The 5th shift is all about adopting cross-platform SEO thinking. It's about being smart with your content, recycling and repurposing optimized stuff.
Okay, so explain that. If I have a blog post, say, and it's optimized for healthy meal prep ideas, what's the smart Instagram move?
Great example. You take that exact phrase, healthy meal prep ideas, and you turn it into an Instagram carousel. Use that phrase in the caption, definitely. Put it right on the first slide of the carousel graphic itself. And hey, weave it into the alt text for the images in the carousel too. The core idea is same optimized message showing up on multiple surfaces. That equals way more visibility potential.
Okay, these are definitely some big shifts, but they sound actionable. And you can start testing this stuff pretty quickly, right? So for everyone listening, what are maybe 1 or 2 quick wins they could try out, say, this week, just to experiment?
Yeah, definitely experiment. Here's what I'd suggest. First, pick one of your existing Instagram posts, maybe one that already did reasonably well. Now go back and rewrite its caption. Weave in a clear, relevant search term like we talked about. Then dive into the alt text for that post. Add or update it with those good descriptive keywords. You could even try using that same search phrase in a related story highlight title. Just little tests. And then the crucial part. Keep an eye on the impressions or maybe even engagement metrics for that specific post. See if you notice any difference over the next week or 2.
That sounds manageable. And yeah, it's true. This probably isn't some magic bullet that's going to triple your traffic overnight. But it absolutely feels like an early advantage, right? Most people are likely still wrapping their heads around this. So being proactive gives you a head start.
Exactly. And if we just, zoom out for a second, connect this to the bigger picture. This is way more than just Instagram adding a new feature. It really signals a fundamental shift in mindset for digital marketing.
Right. Dissolving those old platform silos seems key. But I can imagine for a marketer handling multiple clients, there's still that temptation to keep the Instagram strategy separate, just to keep things simple. How do you argue against that?
That's a really practical point, and it definitely highlights the challenge. But the solution isn't about creating more work, necessarily. It's about working smarter. By thinking cross-platform from the start, you're not inventing brand new stuff for every single channel. You're optimizing your core ideas, your core messages, so they have the best chance of being found wherever your audience might be looking. Marketing just isn't about these walled gardens anymore, where your Insta plan is totally divorced from your website SEO or your YouTube strategy. It's got to be about connecting that user search behavior across every single online surface they might encounter.
So Instagram is now both things. It's visual and it's searchable, which means social media itself is evolving into another form of search engine.
Precisely. And the marketers, the creators who adapt to that reality quickly, who really embrace this idea and start optimizing their content with search in mind, they're going to gain a significant competitive edge. It's about seeing every single piece of content you put out there as a potential doorway into your world, no matter where that doorway happens to be located online.
Well, that really brings us to the end of this deep dive. Instagram isn't just for pretty pictures anymore, folks. It is rapidly becoming a seriously powerful SEO tool.
So maybe leave you with this thought. How will you start to look at, maybe audit, and then optimize your existing Instagram content? Not just thinking about likes and comments, but about genuine discoverability in this new search-driven social world. Your digital future might just hinge on it.